is presented by Botano. The game starts now. Here are your hosts, Brent Wallace, Jason York, and Bobby Ryan.
I'm back, baby. Boys, good to see you again. Welcome to Coming in Hot, as always, presented by Botano. I'm Brent Wallace, known as Local Podcaster. That's Jason York, who has a potty mouth, and Bobby Ryan, who's the winning GM from last week. Boys,
nice. I like it.
Yeah. Who do you think you are, Arnold? You've been watching Arnold on Netflix, Wally? You're doing the I'll be back.
No, I just wanted, I feel like we need to discuss last week before we move on here.
All right.
So
what's on your mind? What's on your mind?
I heard that you guys showed up a half hour beforehand and discussed the show.
I don't know.
Did
maybe a few minutes, but
a half hour is a stretch. Yeah,
that's a stretch. That's a stretch.
I had to text you guys to get on the show today, so I don't know what's happened. Anyway,
I was flying. I've been up. It's 11 o'clock in the morning my time. I've been up over 8 hours trying to get back here in time for this show. So again, winning GM and employee of the week. But I think I had to figure out how to run the chat at the same time, so I needed a little instruction. Our good guy Gavin in the background walked me through it. So
again, I've been asking you. We've done 100 episodes to get you guys to work the chat. Suddenly I go away and you guys are early. You work the chat.
Well, you know, no man.
We're professionals. We know how to get things done. This works. We do us. You do you. You are anal. You're organized. We know you need to do this. You need to be early. You need to do this. So that's the way it works.
And he's having a red Gatorade. He's going to be buzzing in 20 minutes.
Then you don't have. Now you're drinking red Gatorade. You got a tight shirt on. You're making Arnold Schwarzenegger quotes. Is this the new Wally?
Yes.
Are you gonna now show up late and
after the last show? I'm just gonna sit in the seat like you guys do. So one of you will have to produce a show a week. The other. So I'm driving across the U.S. last week, 4,200 kilometers.
Oh, wow.
So your show's on. So I forget. So halfway in. No, we're 18 minutes in, I think it is. I sent to Lisa, hey, just fire up the show for a sec. I want to see how this is going. I tuned in to you guys discussing red Gatorade, and that was it. I was like, okay, shut it off. There's no need for this anymore.
Hey, you wish you knew about red Gatorade, Wally. You would be giving that to your son on a Sunday afternoon in the championship. It works. It's the only time you're allowed to give it to your kids.
I'm thinking of it now.
Well,
so a couple of things that were brought up in the chat or in the show that I'd like to get to. One is that Bobby, is the goldfish still alive?
As far as I know, Goldie is still kicking. Yeah.
Okay.
I did get a text from a buddy that was like, "You didn't really get a goldfish, did you?" I said, "I absolutely did." And there was a little unhappiness about having to go out and buy a fish tank and food. And
that's what I was going to get to next.
Yeah,
is it in a bowl?
I haven't gotten the text message or the email, but he was in a bowl for a couple of days, and now he's got his own little home there. So,
Yorkie, you said, hey, we should do something about Stanley Cup odds with our betting friends at Botano. We did that 2 weeks ago. Okay. I made a board and everything.
That's not the exact words I used.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
We were talking about who could win this year. It was just a you know how things go. It's the show moves organically. You never know what's going to come up.
You never know.
Okay. Yorkie, I'd like to discuss then Bobby got into it too. Why in the first 20 minutes you had said shit 4 times and then I stopped counting.
Shit.
Yeah, then it got worse, but I'll stop there. Yeah. I want you to apologize to all the kids out there like Tom Barrasso had to do.
I don't remember. When did Tommy Bees apologize?
You don't remember?
No. So, refresh my memory.
Hockey Night in Canada playoff game. Tom Barrasso post-game interview. Scott Russell.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
And then someone said he asked a question about. I apologize. I don't remember off the top of my head. It was like
the shots were hitting the post, and he goes, "Do you want me to stop the ones that go wide?"
No, that was to Ken of Rare. This is
okay.
People say this or that. And he goes, "I don't give a shit what people think." Something to that effect.
He does.
So then the next game, he had to come out and apologize.
See, I don't get that.
Listen, we're a podcast.
Hey,
we're
it was
allowed
back
to drop
in like 2002, so or whatever it was.
Exactly. We're organic. You just never know what's going to happen on this show.
You said 15 minutes, so we get into the draft. It was over 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Tim Stützle went third, which I thought was a very bold move by Bobby, but did not take Zdeno Chara or Dominic Hasek.
Yeah. Well, listen,
No.
this is the thing to clarify with all the Hasek talk. We clarified before the draft, anything you did before your time with the Ottawa Senators did not count.
Moot.
Yorkie, as I told you, he was 28-10, had a 209 goals against average and a ridiculous save percentage.
What were his playoff stats? How many playoff games?
Stop it. You're going to tell me you're not taking Dominic Hasek.
How many
so
playoff
Sergei
games?
Gonchar was okay on the team.
Well, that
How
was
many playoff
Bob admitted after he made that pick, it wasn't a great pick.
Yeah, I didn't pay. Yeah, I kind
I'm
of.
sorry.
So
how many games How many
Excuse me.
games did Tim Stützle play?
Mr. Wallace, will
playoffs?
you answer?
I don't
the
care.
question?
What about Drake?
Will you answer? But will you answer the question, please? How many playoff games has Dominic Hasek played for the Ottawa Senators? How
Well,
many?
Yorkie, you can't pick one guy.
Answer the question.
0.
Right. But the question was what? So we don't know what Tim Stützle is going to do, and that's the beauty of the draft. We kind of know. We have a great idea. We knew what Hasek was going to do. He never played for the Sens again, so all that stuff, it doesn't matter. That's why he wasn't drafted.
That you're talking out of both sides of your mouth.
No, I'm not, Bob.
So you didn't take Mika Zibanejad because you didn't like him. Said he's soft in the playoffs because of what he did in New York. Well, again, you don't like. He's a 40 goal scorer.
Exactly. Listen. You do you. Bob didn't take him either. This is my playoff team. That in a best of 7, if I wanted to win, who do I want on my team? And I'm sorry, I'll take Chris Kelly in his prime over DJ Zbad because I know exactly what I'm going to get out of Chris Kelly. People might think that is crazy, but hey, I know what Kells is going to do. I know what Pagnotta is going to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't take Mika because I filled out my center spots quick, and then I left that last one really late. But between Stützle, Spezza, and Fisher, my 1-2-3 punch is pretty damn good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got you down the middle and in goal. I don't like Dylan DeMello, but that's
Bob.
okay.
Bob
I
grabbed
love
the center.
Mello.
Bob grabbed the centers early, and I went for a different type of team because our teams were facing off, 2 totally different teams, and I went with more of a shutdown team. And you'll notice that with my D, like Chara with the Sens, Chara after the Sens. Like, come on, that's a Norris Trophy winner right there, Stanley Cup champion. Plus, you got the big rig, and you got Anton Volchenkov in his prime. Like, good luck getting a floating wrister towards the net. Like, that guy is eating every single puck.
Yorkie's still stuck in the early 2000s with that team.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I love it. But hey, listen, I got a little, but I got Brady Tkachuk in there. He's representing.
Yeah,
a little meat there.
I think you felt forced. Last thing I want to bring up before we move on to today's show. So you finally worked the chat.
Yeah.
And the first thing, Yorkie, you post in the chat, as far as I can tell, the only thing, I quote you, this show much better without Wally.
Well, did you go through the chat, the show with a fine-tooth comb? He's got everything. At this 2 minutes in the show, you guys said this.
Yeah.
So
there's not a chance that you were driving at this point. You were stopped on the side of the road at a rest stop.
You're having
a Sparrow pizza watching this show.
You know what that's called? That's called catfishing, and it worked. I knew you'd be listening, and I wanted you to see that.
So I watched it yesterday as I was prepping for this show, and I was like, wait a second. That's just Jason York. He's never been in the chat before.
I know. I knew you'd see that too.
So
I should have put much in highlighted it in bold letters.
All right. Well, listen, I will say nice job. I saw the draft. I was waiting to see who you guys were picking next. So you did a very good job. So well done on that. I will take more days off.
Hey, the draft wasn't perfect, but I would have loved to have picked a few other guys. but it was fun. You know, it's fun, and you're doing it spur of the moment.
Yep.
I had shit all over. There, I said that word again. I had it all over my desk. You're trying to pick guys. And then it's funny how it works. So, hey, Bob, you see certain guys and you're like, okay, I guess I'm going this way now. Like, this guy's off the board now. So it was a lot of fun.
It was.
We do have some hockey to talk about shortly. But first, Bob, you just got in the door from spending the weekend in Fort Lauderdale with your good buddy, Craig Anderson, who celebrated his career. A lot of people in town. Why don't you tell us about it?
I did. It was a great weekend. Saturday was the party. And then, you know, a lot more people outside of hockey. Were obviously two big families between him and Nicole. So they had, you know, the family there, agents and you know, business partners and things like that. Little light on the Sens. It's a tough time to travel too, right? You're getting ready to gear up to get to camp. So a lot of guys.
Yorkie, hold on a second. Yeah. Yorkie, what are you doing?
Carbs optional?
It's so hot in this office right now. Sorry, Bob. I had to take this off.
But I just got an alert on my phone. I'm glad I didn't ping. 107 heat index here today.
Oh, is it really?
Wow.
Yeah, and I gotta go car shopping. Beautiful. But we had a great weekend. We flew down Friday, and I didn't go right to Fort Lauderdale. I went right to Miami and hung out at Nobu, which you can't pass up an opportunity to go to Nobu. But did get to the party Saturday night. Some really good speeches. Pretty tame party. We got there late for the cocktail hour because you know, I don't go to cocktail hours anymore. So you know, it was great. Saw Basil and they told me to tell you hello. A couple guys mentioned you, Wally, but Basil and those guys from Napoli that were Craig's family up there. Wow. Some great speeches by his agent, and I got up and spoke as well. I kind of looked around and I was like, I definitely the longest tenured player that played with Andy, and I know these young guys from Buffalo aren't saying anything, so I got up and told a story or two. Nothing dramatic, but yeah, we ate our weight in food. Great spread. Anybody that knows Andy knows that he eats like a 5-year-old. So there was Wagyu beef sliders, and they didn't break the budget on the food, that's for sure. But 7 cupcakes. I had a lot of cupcakes, maybe not 7, but I had a lot of cupcakes, a lot of dessert, and it was a great evening. Andy gave a great speech, you know, talking and thanking people that were with him the whole way, and to put faces to names that I've heard in the past. Pierre Brill, the goalie coach from Ottawa, was there. So it was a great evening celebrating a guy that, you know, had a very, very fantastic career, obviously.
I was just going to say, I saw Pierre Grupic, Max Lajoie, who one time lived with him when he first came to Ottawa. Yeah, I saw his pick there. Of course, his agent, Justin Duberman. Yeah. Andy's just a really good, well-liked guy. So good to see, which leads me into my next question, because Marian Hossa had his big send-off celebration game, which was stacked with talent. If you didn't see the rosters, I would like more players to do this, to have these games. It's basically an alumni game, but jam-packed full of players that you played with throughout your career. Like Marian Hossa had Alfie, Havlat, Gonchar, Oduya, Chara, Bondra, all former Senators there, on top of like Nick Lidstrom and whatnot. But would you guys be down for doing this stuff?
No.
You know what? So perfect. What I would think, I'd say a perfect thing that I'd love to enjoy, because I never really, still haven't signed my retirement papers. But if I wanted to do something like that, and Haas isn't a golfer, like he doesn't play golf. I would have a huge day at the golf course, and then everybody sits around after. We tell stories together. And then we do a dinner or something like that after. Like to me, the last thing I want to do is put my skates on and go play a game. But that's just me. And I think, Bob, you're kind of the same mind. But
yeah, I would relate to that. I would play golf long before I put the blades on, or asked other retired guys to put the blades on. But I saw some clips that turned out fantastic for him.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
could you imagine asking Andy to put the pads on right now? Not a chance.
No.
But goalies hate it. Goalies hate it.
Yes. And I remember Ron Tugnutt always used to play as a forward when he did media skates in Ottawa, and he'd be part of it, toe dragging at the blue line. But I just like the thought of being able to do this, I think, one last time for the player. You could see Haas was all in on this. Like, he loved every second of it. And I thought it was, I just thought it was pretty good. I would love to see it.
Maybe with Haas too, because his circumstances were a little different. Yes. Right? He had that horrible body rash. I just kept thinking about that. Is he putting the gear on again? I guess they're not going hard, so he's not going to really sweat. But
do you remember Gonk? Did you ever get the Gonk?
I got it when I was a kid.
I got it so bad in Anaheim one year.
Awful.
And it lasted for me. It lasted a year and a half. I couldn't put stuff on, but his sounds way worse and way different. To the point where he couldn't. But I had to layer things on my body before my gear just to protect it. And I had never heard the term for it. And it was all over my arms. And I was getting on the plane one time, and Bob Murray, who was the GM at the time, said, "You got the gonk." And I looked at it, I said, and I had scored that night, so I thought he meant something like that. And then he was like, the rash, the body rash. And I was like, "Oh, is that what it's called?" He's like, "Yeah, we used to get it all the time back in the day." So I kind of understood what it was. But man, it's pardon my language, but it's fucking awful.
Well, have you seen it?
You can't shower. You can't.
It's like this like red bubbly fungus that gets on your skin, and then you can't get rid of it. I got it as a kid.
Yeah.
I was really young at the time, and when you're a kid, you don't shower every day when you're a kid. And once you got it, man, I remember it. And they called it something different back then, but I guess Haas's was at a whole other level.
Yeah.
And,
I had to get a TUE. I had to get a therapeutic, what do they call it? Use exemption from the league and from WADA, because it wasn't an Olympic year, but it was a world championship year or something, to get pregnant. Like I was taking steroids to get rid of it. And it was, it got better. And then it just, it was 2.5 years of it though, before it finally just decided it was done. And I never had it again. I baffling. I'm surprised more guys didn't get it in the minors, because in the minors, you play 3-3 all the time. You play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's wet gear. They're not washing the gear. You're on buses. You're in your tracksuits. Very true.
But in the pros, like your stuff is cleaned. It's sanitized. It's the dressing rooms have ventilation. Like it's not going on in the American League. I can't even imagine the Cheese Toast League, like the Coast. Like
oh god,
Oh boy,
no clue.
So it's a horrible thing. But like Haas isn't a golfer, so I sounded like a great weekend. I heard Havlat was down there too, host. I didn't see the whole list, but sounded like.
Oh my god!
I'm sure that
42 rings on the ice, right?
Yeah, Miro Shatan was another guy. Yeah, they had tons of talent. Okay, so let's switch gears, move into some stuff I'd like to talk about, including Tim Stützle. But before we do that, gentlemen, since although Yorkie, you butchered the Batano last week, I will say that.
What are you talking? I thought it was great.
You know what? That's where you brought up. Maybe we should do Stanley Cup odds
today. Yeah, let's. But we were gonna talk about who we thought was gonna win.
Oh, look, I even have the old one. Here it is, Stanley Cup odds, printed from the last time we did the show.
Hey, listen, you got a color printer?
Well, it cost me $42 to make that page.
I had my reads, Wally. I had my reads printed out right beside me, ready to go. I was prepared.
All right. Do you have them today?
No.
You're back, dude. Of course not. When he has to text us at 10:54 to see if we're coming on the show, we probably don't have ad reads, Wally.
Man.
You gotta do something besides whine and bitch and this.
I've put a great show together that you aren't even aware of yet.
I know. I read it. It's great.
No, we left stuff out, so you wouldn't. I'm gonna ask you questions, and I didn't want to give you the answers.
Okay.
All right, let's get to it. As always, our good show is brought to you by Batano. Go to batano.ca, download the award-winning app. All new state-of-the-art, the fastest, most user-friendly and advanced betting app for your mobile or tablet. Have the amazing world of sports with you always with Batano. Hundreds of betting options for events. Try same-game parlays. Also, we're going to get into one later about Tim Stützle, over-under on his points and on his goals for this year. There's lots of stuff you go there now for NHL futures. Batano.ca, you can check. You can compare, like, head-to-head, who will have more points, whether it's Tim Stützle against, there's a couple of guys. Artemi Panarin, I think, is one. Go check it out, batano.ca, where the game starts now. Bobby, you're up.
The show also, brought to you by our partners over at BEI, Bonisher Excavating, helping to shape the Ottawa Valley. It's our heavy civil general contractor. You can find them for equipment rentals, aggregate and topsoil sales, haulage, floating, highway maintenance, and concrete formwork. You can find them at bonisherexcavating.com or give them a buzz at 613-432-1120. And when planning your next project, consider BEI for your aggregate supply needs. As always, slow down in construction zones. And plug. They get free ice on Fridays, free ice Fridays. So not for anybody. You got to work there. So send them in.
All right. So guys, you're well aware of Faces Magazine. And Yorkie, I know that you know Sean Sisk, who's taking photos of everybody, including myself. I don't know, Bobby. I think the last episode you were in was 2018, perhaps. Point is, Sean Sisk recently had a blood infection. He's been hospitalized. He's a freelance photographer, very well known around the city. He was doing Blues Fest at the time. He needs help. As a freelancer, he doesn't get a paycheck unless he works. So our good friends over at Overflow Beer are doing a benefit concert on this Friday coming up. 14 live performances, run straight from noon till midnight, I think it is. Yeah, tickets are $40. It's great support. So we just like to see you all out there. I think Ian Mendez, Kabukaskis, they're all going to show up here at some point. See you there Friday night at Overflow Beer. Give them buy your tickets at overflowbeer.com for Sean Sisk. He could use some help. All right.
Before you start there, Wally, a little bit of breaking news. I don't know if it's been out too much yet, but Jonathan Bernier retired today. 19 minutes ago, he made his post.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah, I just popped across my speed. So, hell of a guy. I love that guy.
Yes.
Yeah, great guy.
He was a goalie one year at the World Championships when I was there. I think it was Zurich. Anyway, him and James Reimer were the goalies. I really, really like Jonathan Bernier. It's just, I don't know him well. I just know he was always nice to deal with as a person.
Yeah, really, really salt to the earth. Really worked hard. Nice guy, funny. Any hell of a career. 14 seasons, I think I just read. That's who I scored my first ever goal on in the NHL.
No way.
Yeah, both of our first games. Yeah, I lit them up.
Nice.
Cheesy backhand, but that's all right.
It's funny. It's funny. Eh? You'll never ever forget that goal.
No.
It's crazy, right?
No, the building didn't know who to cheer for. Us, we were in London, England, so they were like, "Do we cheer for?" They cheered for every goal. Didn't matter. So I felt like it was a home game.
Oh man,
that's funny. Shot, didn't you?
Wow.
Was it my first shot? Probably. I didn't play a ton. They were like, they strung me out on the power play. It's like getting a bumper.
Yorkie, one other question. You went golfing yesterday with Kabukaskis and your son Jack. It looked like 3 people in the picture. I'm just wondering, did you forget to text me? Was there something?
You gotta know. If you want to go golfing, Wally, you got an open invitation.
Oh,
wow! I'm ready to go at any point.
Flip
I'm so busy over here sweating away at the show.
Listen, you're traveling. You're going to prep schools. You're going to Craig Anderson's retirement party. You're everywhere. Well, you're invited to that. You didn't go though.
I didn't. Well, I was busy. I didn't have a chance to go.
You're busy doing what?
The show.
The show's in good hands. You want to travel a little bit?
I just spent a week driving through the U.S. Listen, if anything wants to test your nerves or your patience, do that.
Well, were you on 95 the whole way down?
No. 95 down and then up back through Columbus, Cleveland.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that's a nightmare drive. That's 75. I think it's 75, but
75 or 80. I don't know. 81, 75. They're all the same to me at this point.
I love driving through the States. I'll take driving through the States over going through Toronto any day of the week.
Yeah. Then you haven't driven in Atlanta.
No, Atlanta's brutal.
Is it?
It's horrendous.
Oh, it's horrendous. It's one of the worst cities in the Yeah,
I haven't done that.
I've done it 3 times in the last year, and I'm like, never again. But then I bought a house right on the other side of it. So,
but listen, I got
jet, Wally.
More. Bob, just get yourself a chopper.
Yeah, might as well.
I heard that's what Lindros did. I heard Eric Lindros lived in Toronto and had a place up in Muskoka, and up in Muskoka, as Wally knows, it is hell to get there. What is it? The Highway 400. Wally, you take from Toronto?
The one for Barrie or whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah. So Lindros gets a chopper and basically just helicopters to his cottage every weekend.
No way. Well, I like that.
I would do that too.
Why
you
not?
Like that play?
Absolutely.
You can't. When you're making that kind of money, does it really matter at that point?
No.
It's like a Uber ride. So anyway, I will gladly take a game of golf at the Royal Ottawa if you aren't hard on me, if perhaps my ball never ends up in the fairway.
We might start you off on the Royal 9.
Just out of the way. Okay,
well, that's tough too. Tiny greens are like postage stamps. Rolling at 12 right now, Wally. You'll be four jacking all day long. It's all right. That's all right.
We are 34 days away from our first preseason game, which is in Toronto on the September 24th. 8 games is a lot, I think, for you guys would probably admit that, including that Winnipeg game on October the 5th, because those last 2 games, you want to have a lot of your team. But that Winnipeg game, to me, is the key one where all the guys who might be on the bubble are going to Winnipeg.
Yeah. It's the worst. I played 15 years, and that is the worst preseason game. And I got stuck with it almost every year. I think 1 year I got to miss it. And you get I got home and into my bed at 5:45 in the morning, because you fly there, you play, you fly right back. Is it 1 or 2 hour time change?
One,
just a tiny bit of a delay getting on the bird, and then you got a 2.5 hour flight, and then an hour drive home from the airport, give or take 40 minutes, whatever. It is the worst. And I remember they were like, what would you, at the end of the year, 1 year, they were like, what did you think about the year? And I was like, whoever decides on that fucking game in Winnipeg, I was like, I will give you, I remember I was like $100,000 not to go. And I got it every year, every single year. God damn. I'm fired up for the guys that have to go play in it now. I'm so mad. It is the worst trip in the world, but, and you only got one dress rehearsal after that. Right. So
yeah,
you got to take a squad. Yep. But I guarantee you they're all lined. I mean, they're flipping coins right now, trying not to get that game.
Do you guys care when you looked at the roster of the other side of how competitive it was? My point is, like, Winnipeg will have a pretty good roster, I would think, because it's close to perhaps their last home game before the preseason or for the regular season starts, which means lots of talent. When you guys are going into games, do you care what the other roster looks like?
It all depends where you're at in your career. Like,
yes.
It's like if you're an established guy and you might care a little, but you're a young guy. You're not looking at it. You're looking at the roster to think, okay, which guy do I got to watch out for? Because you're trying to show your best stuff. But you're an older guy. You're like, okay, which guy's gonna be running around like an idiot that I'm gonna want to change when he's on the ice? And which like it's
never totally have shorter shifts in a game than a preseason game. But you're Bob, he's so. I mean, Yorkie just hit the nail on the head. It just as you go on in preseason, then you start to really think about it. But those first couple games are like, God. I think it was my second year there when Toronto was coming in and they brought like their whole lineup, like 2 games in the preseason. We're like, why are they bringing a wagon to Ottawa? Because now we got to dress one, and it was supposed to be a night off. And he calls me in. He's like, "You're going tonight." Wait, what? I have dinner reservations, so I was like, I guess I'm playing. But
Alfie's mullet in the chat would like to point out that that's because all the other guys offered $150K not to go, Bobby. You got to up the ante.
Guys. Yeah. I could have been talked up to it. I promise.
Okay, I want to move on. Go ahead, Yorkie.
No, I got bad memories. I got traded once right after the final exhibition game. We get home from Vancouver, and from Vancouver to Anaheim, you got to land at LAX, take the bus back. It's like late in the morning, and our GM at the time, Jack Ferreira, "Hey, I want to see you. This is like 3 a.m. Yeah, we just traded you to Ottawa." Then I had to go home. Got home at like 4 a.m. Warren Reichel was living with me during training camp. He had just signed anyhow. Warren goes right upstairs because he doesn't want to be part of this. And I tell my wife, I just got traded like right after the final game. I knew I was getting traded though, because they didn't dress me. So if you don't dress the last whatever preseason game, something's up, because you're usually, especially if they don't tell you. But that sucked that night.
Okay, but wait a second. You got traded to your hometown team, Yorkie.
Yeah.
Was there not an ounce of excitement?
Well, I just bought a house like the year before in Anaheim. I had great golf hookups. I had some awesome friends in the community. Family was coming down to visit all the time. And don't forget, Ottawa. There was an article written in Sports Illustrated the year before, and people, longtime Sens fans remember this article. They had designated Ottawa the worst franchise in all of professional sports. And I was just starting to establish myself as an NHLer. You go to a team like that, your career could go either way, because if it doesn't go well, they're getting rid of you in a hurry. Thankfully, things went well and we made the playoffs and the team did great, but it's a very nerve-wracking time, man. It's especially like I was a late pick, and it took me a long time to get established. You finally get established in Anaheim. I'm a top 40, and they're like, hey, we're going to trade you to Ottawa. So yeah, the last thing on my mind was, hey, yay, I'm going home.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like your mind doesn't think. You always think worst case scenario. Some guys, a lot of guys have this great ability, and these are usually the best players in the league that just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
those guys somehow it always works out for them. They just don't care.
It's amazing.
But when you kind of care, anyways. Yes, I was happy, but it was nerve-wracking.
Well, it didn't sound very happy, but we were happy to have you here in Ottawa. Okay.
And my wife was 8 months half pregnant too. So.
Okay, that's a big part of the story.
And I was having a kid in 2 weeks or whatever it was.
Oh man.
Dylan DeMello tells the best story that he was in San Jose, just bought a house with his wife, I believe at the time. I think they were married. Goes back and tells her, and it's right at the beginning of the season. It's the Erik Karlsson trade, and she doesn't believe him.
Yeah.
Don't lie to me.
It's like, but when you buy your first house with your wife and you're married, it's a happy time, right? And you're in a team. It's just listen, you're in the NHL. It's great, but it was a very stressful time, but it's all good. It worked out.
All right. Speaking of all good, I was looking up the other day. I wanted to see where Tim Stützle was on the all-time point scoring list of what would happen to his season this year if he had a 90-point season. Tim Stützle would move to the top 15 in all-time scoring. He currently sits 26th overall, 3 points back of Andy Dackel, and just past, of course, Alex Digg. But look, if you look at the number of games he's played compared to everybody else,
pretty incredible.
He's doing okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who currently sits at 15th overall on the Ottawa Senators scoring list?
Bobby?
Oh God, I am. No, I don't know who 3 people are on that list. So no, I have no clue. I have no idea.
I'm going to get you Chris Stevenson's book on the Ottawa Senators, 100 Things You Should Know. That's what I'm going to send it to you.
Okay. I gotta, I'll go up there and I'll face it out. I have no, gosh, I'd be guessing.
That would make one Bobby Ryan.
Hey.
Okay. There you go.
So if he gets 90 points, I think he ends up with one more point than you in top 15.
I hope he gets 88.
But it just goes to show, like, in 210 games, 177 points, he is I don't know that we appreciate him enough, or maybe we do, and we've only seen him for 3 years, but a hell of a player that I think my point is, do we see him get to 90 points perhaps this year?
What do you think, Yorkie?
Well, I'm going to give us a little Barry Horowitz here, the old wrestler that pats himself on the back. We were on Timmy early, and Bob knows a thing or two about scoring goals. We were using the word superstar very early last year. He's there right now.
Yeah.
My only concern, it's not a concern because it's a good thing, is the ice time's going to come down this year.
Yeah.
He's going to have to share touches with Josh Norris. So it's hard to get 90 points in the league. Like 80, 85 is still a great year. Like point a game is still great. I think a lot of things have to go right for him to get 90 points. Because if you look at the guys in the league that get a ton of points, I always take the Edmonton model. Like those guys get 2 minutes of every power play.
Right.
Like that's gonna change in Ottawa now. Like you're gonna have to now with all the threats, with Tarasenko, with Norris, with Batherson, with Tkachuk and Giroux. It's going to be tough again on the coaching staff to make sure everybody gets their power play time. So that's going to affect Stützle's point total. I think it has to.
Yes.
Can he get to 90? I think, he can. But I think it's going to be tough.
He's gonna need a run. He's gonna need a run at some point. But I'd like to disagree with Yorkie, but I agree with everything he just said. The ice time is going to change. And you know what? Let's make this clear that we're basing on the fact that everybody's healthy.
Yes.
For a very big portion of the season. One guy goes down, Timmy Stützle goes back to 20 minutes a night, no problem, right? I think from a pure skill point, he's an easy 90-point player, but I just don't know if the touches are going to be there like they were last year. So I still think it's a better problem to have if you have Timmy at 85 and you got a bunch of guys at 70. There's nothing wrong with that. Right. It's a better problem than having him score 90 and guys not playing up to where they're supposed to be playing.
People have no idea how much a toll the regular season takes on somebody. Like, you look historically at some of these great teams that are good year after year after year. They don't tax their players every year. Like, look at the run Detroit had for that long time. And I know that's a little bit of a different era, but their forwards, nobody was over 20 minutes. No,
they're spread. Yeah.
20 minutes.
Yeah, but they also had 3 lines of Hall of Fame players, it felt like.
Right. Ottawa's deeper this year. Now they're going to be deeper. That's how you win. But I'm not saying Ottawa's Detroit, but I'm saying for the betterment of your hockey club, personal stats are great. It's how you get paid. The other nice thing about Ottawa is all the guys have been paid. So they're not going to have that stress of, man, I got to get my numbers up because I got to get paid. Well, they're already got their contracts. So
exactly.
It's got to be now the mindset, and it will change with this group. It's about doing everything the right way and being a 200-foot player. I don't care who you are. If you're playing 20 minutes a night as a forward, you're cheating in the game in some facet.
100%. You're
cheating the game. You're not back checking hard. As they call it, tracking. You're not F1 that often. You're staying in the high slot. But if you're at, let's say, call it 17 to 18, you're playing a lot harder because you just have. Hey, there's that old skate test. Remember that skate test, Bob?
Yeah.
Hey, you guys want to take long shifts? All right, on the goal line, and you would skate for 30 seconds as hard as you can, and then the coach would prove a point and said, "See, if you extend your shifts, you can't do it." And it's the old tried and tested theory. It works. So no.
Enough about Randy Carlyle.
That was a Jacques Martin skate too, by the way.
I know. I just thought I always like to mention Randy Carlyle as often as I can.
Appreciate it.
I should point out, we should say 91 points for Tim Stützle because he was one of 19 players last year to hit 90 points. So that'll lead me into our Betano betting board. We'll call it. I don't have a name for it. So there's 2 things. If you go to betano.ca, you can bet on goals over 37.5 and points over 90.5. So, Bobby, you're the goal scorer. I get to start with you. Does Tim Stützle get to 38 goals, or would you take the under on this?
Man, I guess we're at this point now where he's that good that these are the numbers. I don't think
we're talking 38 goals. Like,
I don't think people understand how hard it is to score 25. And I know that we're in a scoring era a little bit here. But no, I got to take the under just on the number. Like, the number of 40 goal scorers in the league is probably going to be high this year, but I can't. 37. No, I'm taking the under. And I love the player. I think he's arguably one of the top 10 players in the league coming in this year after the end of his year last year. But I would not bet on anybody outside of 4 guys to bet over 38 goals. There's
19 players. 19 players had 40 goals last year.
Are you kidding? Yeah, too many. 38 goals. I'm taking the under because they have 3 lines for once. I'm taking the under.
Yeah.
And it's a good problem. I'm not betting against the player. I'm betting against the team. I'm betting with the team.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I get that.
Tarasenko's a shooter. Josh Norris is a shooter. Brady Tkachuk's going to get a ton of goals around the front of the net. Batherson's got that great release. Like, how many guys? Yeah. Last year, didn't we have? I remember we talked about this last year. We said how many guys on the Sens were going to get over 30. And Claude Giroux got over 32. I didn't even mention Claude.
No kidding.
Career year.
Yeah, I think he's going to get over 30. I agree with Bob, though. That's really tough to do. It's a lot easier if you're on a shitty team and you're getting 2 minutes every power play, and you're getting 2 in a 5-4 loss.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're chasing the game and you get your cookie.
Yeah, you get your cookie. Yeah, I think he can do it, but I take the under. I'm gonna take the under as well. I
take the over, and the only reason I say that is I appreciate what you're saying about how hard it is. I just think he's matured. Another year at his age, when you're 23, 24, right, is different, and that he's that motivated and that skilled. So, and I don't believe he has any reins on him whatsoever.
No, I don't. I would agree with that too. Yeah, I would agree with that.
So I just love how he holds on to the puck, and he's not afraid to try and something. And remember some of those moves last year? He'd be at the top of the blue line and just dangling guys at, when you bring the puck up high to the blue line, Bob, he just, like, I see him being a little bit more of a distributor this year, because
I do too.
There's going to be.
Well, don't say that. I just said he's going to get over 38.
I know, but that's you do you. I hope he does.
We're back to
it. He. You know what? I will say, if I had to pick 5 players in the league I would pay to watch specifically, he'd be one of them for sure.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Because you don't know what he's going to do. Jason Spezza was the same way to me. I would pay to watch Jason Spezza play because he's so gifted, and you don't know what he's going to do. He takes you out of your seat.
Yeah. I agree.
Bob, you played with Joe Corvo, eh?
Oh, man. Oh, yeah.
Well, he takes you out of your seat because you didn't know what Joe was going to do.
Yeah.
That's a different thing.
I love watching Corvo.
He was already in his CrossFit career when he was with us, though.
Oh, yeah? He's in good shape?
I've never seen anything like it. He could have cared less about hockey that year. He was...
What?
He did CrossFit every single day.
Come on.
Dude, he was a maniac. And then I remember texting him. I said, hey, I heard you had your first CrossFit competition. It was like the year after he retired. He said, yes, but it was a team competition and we placed 4th. I would have won if I had 3 more Joes. I said, okay.
Okay, so
good job, buddy.
Great. I got buddies that do CrossFit. It's like, okay, you're gonna do 100 pull-ups today.
Yeah.
The CrossFit workout's nuts.
What's the remember Letterkenny? You can cross fuck off. One of the best. You do CrossFit, you can cross fuck off.
It's like one of the worst workouts you can do for hockey. It's like train till exhaustion. Like,
no, thank you.
So okay, so Joe was a CrossFit champ.
Oh yeah,
the second time around.
Yeah,
because he was in Ottawa twice.
That's right.
Okay, Bob, who are you? Wally's. So who are you paying? One guy. I know we got McDavid. Who would you pay
for me
to see in the league? Yeah, who's your guy?
Oh man, who's up there is Pasternak. I'd also say McKinnon. When you think about that, when you go out west, God, nobody really does it for me out west right now except for McKinnon.
I'm easy. I'm
Carl.
Carl.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm Carl all day long and Cale Makar. Those are my 2 guys.
There you go. Yeah, that's a great. Yep. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
And I like the guy. I like McAvoy as well. I like watching him. He's got a little bite to his game.
Yeah, he does. He's a good player.
Now,
I was thinking,
but he's kind of over out.
No, because he's not doing anything that jump. He's just taking one-timers.
Then clearly you don't remember every time he came to Ottawa and would score a hat trick.
Yeah, he lit us up. I'm not denying that he lit us up. I remember when he walked Carl the one time for like his 600th goal or whatever when we were losing 6-1, and we were just giving it to Carl. We were like, were you poke checking like that? But no, I'm not. He's not bringing me out of my seat like those guys. Like Pasternak can beat guys one-on-one in a ton of different ways. McKinnon's just all over the ice. You know who I like is Barkov. But he's not as flashy. Kucherov might be in that mix a little bit, and Point, but it's a select list, and I'm just naming guys left, right, and center. But it's very few.
He's on my list,
and Stutzel's in there.
Back to Timmy Stu, and that's the points. Does he get to 91 points this year?
I let Yorkie go first. I'm going to say under because I want to see him at 85 with 5 guys at 75.
You just don't want him to get to take your spot in the
roster. No, that's fine. Keep climbing, man. He's going to pass me in for a long time, but
yeah, that's tough. I think he can for sure do it, but I'm basing it on a healthy Ottawa Senators team, and I'm going to say he's going to be like in the mid 80s, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Great year.
And if he,
Great
year.
Oh, that's tough. Yeah, I will. Yeah, but see, he's had. So last year he had a 32-point improvement from the year before, which is next to Alfie's 35-point improvement, which he did in 10 fewer games than the year before, is the second best ever in franchise history. If you look at just within like a game or two of the year before, Radek Bonk had a 28-point improvement one time as well. I think Stützle's year before was 29 points. I think he gets there. I think he can put it up.
When Alfie had that improvement, was he running because he was playing the point on the power play for a while too, remember?
Well, so what happened was it's over the lockout is in the middle of it, and it's that 05-06 season when they just started to tear up the league, right? With Heatley coming in.
Yeah.
So I think he was on the point on the power play for a bit.
Could be.
A lot of cookies on that point.
Yep. So that's anyway. From what he's done and shown so far, I think he gets to 91 points.
Yeah, I hope he does. It'll be a great year.
I do too.
It'd be fun to watch.
Agree.
Okay, which leads me to something else I was thinking about when it came to Timmy. Shootouts for the Ottawa Senators. Now, Ottawa has, by the way, I think the 29th best shootout percentage in the league. Not good. I'm just curious who you would pick in your top 3 all-time shootout shooters for the Ottawa Senators. Here I have some. So you can pick Claude and Vladimir Tarasenko if you want. Even though Yorkie, they did all their work outside on another team.
So do you know what I just looked up? And I thought about this because I remember, Bob, you used to love the high glove, didn't you?
Low glove.
You're a low glover?
Right under the glove over the pad. Yeah, and then if I didn't have that shot when I liked it, I had the forehand move that I would cater to. I had 3 moves in mind every time, and one move being a shot. I had the shot first mentality for that low glove and 5-0. There was one year that me and Turi were very, very, very good. So I'll just say my 3. And then I missed a lot of guys. Like I don't know how Alfie did at it, or Spez.
I'll tell you afterwards because I have them.
I tried to look it up, and I'm not very savvy. So if I'm leading, I'm putting Silverberg first.
Nice.
I did not see that coming.
I'm gonna put Silverberg first. I'm gonna go second because that's where I always preferred to go. If I'm picking shootout, I want to be in the mix. And then I think I'm gonna guess that Alfie was very good at it, so I'm gonna go with Alfie third.
Yeah, wow. So
I was torn between. Sorry, Yorkie. I was really torn with Turi because he had those 2 that shot that he had, and then he could go to his forehand too. But I don't know how you leave out Alfie in almost every category for the Sens, so I'm just going to take him.
You're going to take him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to surprise you on this one because I remember this guy's move.
Here come the 1998 selections, Bobby.
No.
Yeah.
Short career, but this guy, little tiny stick, left-handed shooter, and it was an automatic forehand to backhand and right upstairs. Remember, they called him L'Artiste. Remember L'Artiste?
Are we talking about Alex Kovalev?
Alex Kovalev.
Okay.
He had this move where he could go backhand. He'd go slide it across on the forehand, right to the backhand, automatic top shelf.
Yeah, it's hard to beat that
every single time. I have the stats here too. Bob, you had 6 career shootout goals one season. Sorry, 6, not career. He had 6 shootout goals one year. That's good for first all time on the Sens list.
That's not.
Oh, no
true.
way.
It's not true. 6 in one season, you mean?
6 in one season. 6 in one season.
I remember I started 6 for 7 one year, and I think I ended up 6 for 9 because once I hit a post and then your mind's just.
Spets was pretty good too, eh?
I had a feeling, yeah.
I would want Spezza. You know what? Kovalev's not on. I just brought Kovalev up. He's not on there. I'm going Spezza, Bobby, and I'm going Alfie. Those are my 3.
Nice. I made the list. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, Spezza, Bobby, Alfie, done.
Okay, so Gavin, put up the franchise leader shootout board. Jason Spezza holds a record for goals, also in attempts. Mika Zibanejad is number 1 in shootout percentage for the Ottawa Senators all time. But number 3 is Tim Stützle.
Where's you know what? Dude, I don't know why I didn't start to think about guys that are
he was
mine that are on the team right now, idiot.
See, and Kovalev was 2 all time. I will say, Yorkie.
He was good. He was good.
And Bob is, I think, in the last during your career, I think you were 19th overall in percentage, perhaps, and shootout attempts.
Yeah, you know what? Randy Carlyle used to roll me out like 3rd when I was a rookie into my 2nd year. I think I started 0 for 9 because I didn't play overtime. I didn't play late in games early on. And then all of a sudden he's like, hey, go score. And you're like, wait, what? my legs, I can't bend my legs. You're just, you're just waiting. So I got really behind the 8 ball and I couldn't get to a move that I wanted to go to every time. I was just in my own head. So it took me a while. But
you know what I see on that list, guys? And I can't believe I omitted this guy off my team last week too. I like Milan McCulloch. I know he was hurt. Man, he was a good player though.
I thought about him for a while too on last week actually. I was like, who am I going to put with Spez if I don't get Heater? And then Milo is on my list.
Yeah,
30 goal scorer. Yeah,
great dude.
Is he a good guy? I loved how he played. I loved how he played. He worked so hard.
Yeah. It was rough being a Bud Light around him.
Oh yeah. No, now I like him more.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, big too, eh? Like he's a big dude, eh? Like
monster. He was a monster. Yeah.
Okay, I got another thing to show you. There are notables. So there's only been I think 10 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players on the current Ottawa Senators who have done shootouts. You might be interested to see who some of these players are, but look at the bottom name.
Yeah, well, that's not for him, man.
Brady Tkachuk is 0 for 6 in his career.
Yeah.
I found that one interesting to me. Just, I don't know why, maybe because of the number he's already taken or the fact he's 0 for, but you got to think at some point he gets one, no?
At some point he'll get one, but that's not, you're never going to see him rolled out unless you get the 5, 6, and 7 on the depth chart. Right. Yeah. But that's like, they always were like, Clarkie and Hoff, go do it. And Hoff was like 1 for 20 or something. And Clarkie's like,
he was not good.
Clarkie would turn around and say, no. Like Clarkie's like, no, I'm just going to tell you right now, we're wasting a shot. Like find somebody else.
Hoff didn't have very good shootout numbers. I remember that. I was like, what is it about shootouts? Like there's certain goal scorers can't do it.
I think certain guys get to that blue line and they got too many options when there's nobody around them. And you're like, okay, I can go, forehand, I can go backhand, I can shoot, I can double clutch and make a different move. Like if guys have too much time to prepare for something and get that only thing in their head and only go one way, you lose all the deception. You don't present the forehand on the way down. There's just, it's just too much time for some guys. That's why I was thinking about Batherson earlier too, because he's a good right-handed shot and he's got that ability to go forehand, backhand with that long reach. But he made my list and I was thinking about him. But yeah, there's too much time. You can go at any pace you want, So I always like to come fast. So I took some stuff out of play. Like just go fast. You don't have 3 moves.
I'd want no part of a shootout. I'd be like, just don't fumble the puck. Don't fumble the puck. Just get a shot off.
Yeah, just try to hit him in the pads. Yorkie creating rebounds. We used to do a drill where you remember those drills where you have to pass off the pad all the time.
Yeah.
You got 2 guys skating this. The outside guy shoots, the other guy goes for the rebound and stops at the net. And I remember Randy Carlyle just going, pass off the pads, shoot off the pads. It's as good as an assist. And he said, if I passed everything off the pads, Randy, I'd be making 1.5. It was great.
Here's a trivia question. Who has taken the most shootout shots in the last 13 years in the National Hockey League?
Wow.
Franz Nielsen?
No, but he is He has the most
Oh,
game-deciding shootout goals, I think.
He had
in the last 10 years or something. Like he's a very good shootout shooter. I didn't know how good
he had
was.
an unbelievable move to the backhand and under the bar every time.
That's the one. Yeah.
I was thinking Franz Nielsen, and I was also thinking possibly Joe Pavelski.
Yeah. Joe Pavelski is first, I think, all time
in goals.
I think it's average. I think it might be average.
What about Oshie? TJ
Oshie's close. Sorry, Joe Pavelski all-time shootout attempts, 127. But in the last 13 years, Claude Giroux has taken the most.
Whoa. Okay.
I was shocked by that.
What's his percentage?
Not great.
Yeah.
Claude is around 20. He's 28.8. So he's 12th all time in shootout attempts, and then
honestly,
he's low on the average.
It's kind of like a batter. If you're over 30, you're actually in the mix for a pretty good stat line.
Yes. Yeah, TJ Oshie is there, and so I think Franz Nielsen's among the tops too. But
they should get rid of the shootout anyhow. It's
why?
lost.
Don't start that. We're already at 40 minutes. No, we're at an hour. Don't Yorkie. What are you doing? Give Wally.
We'll save this for another day.
Yeah.
Do you, Bob?
Dumping changes for 3 extra periods?
No, you go.
What's wrong with it, Yorkie? Fans like it.
Fans like 3-on-3 better.
I love it because you know that it's not going to be very long. You're like, hey, start pulling the bags out from under. The Jets running. Let's go. They got a great.
So
if you're a player, it's great.
Stale.
So play 10 minutes of 3-on-3. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I would do that. I wouldn't mind.
But nobody hates, like, nobody's at home going, damn. Every time my kid goes to a game and there's a shootout, I can't leave early. I'm like, let's go. We can beat the traffic.
Imagine if you went 3-on-3, 2-on-2, 1-on-1.
I would be okay with 2-on-2. 1-on-1 I couldn't do.
You're gonna have to bring the nets in at center.
Yeah. Then if you get the 1-on-1, it's more gimmicky than a shootout.
Yeah, guys are just gonna ice the puck.
You're flicking the puck over the head and hoping you're faster than the next guy.
I used to do that in my minor hockey tryouts. I'd call 4-on-4, 3-on-3. Then you'd yell, especially when the kids are young, and Adam and Novice yell 1-on-1, and you got 2 kids on the ice. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Here's a trivia question for Bob, because Yorkie, you'll know this. Who scored the first shootout goal in the NHL history?
What year did it come into play?
05-06, right after the lockout.
That's right.
Opening night.
I was gonna say, was it an Eastern team?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with. Now you know what? I don't even know. I'd be guessing.
All right, Gavin, give him the video.
No way.
Where's he going?
Top glove. Low
Looks
glove.
just like Bobby Ryan.
Best shot, man. It is the best shot.
Looks just like you.
I guess. Yeah, he did. Yeah, yeah, a little faster.
There's the goal you guys don't like.
What is that?
It's stopping the puck. That's
what kind of move? He didn't even have to stop the puck. Allison wasn't even a move. Look at these goalies.
That's Eddie Belfour.
God, I would have loved to have played against these guys.
Lindros. Yeah. So Lindros
stand-up goalies
had a chance and he didn't score. And Danny Heatley actually credited for the first shootout winner.
The heater.
There we
5-0
go.
there.
Okay, so here's the other part of that trivia question. Yorkie, do you know whose stick Daniel Alfredsson used?
Oh, it's a right-handed stick. So on that team,
it's in the Hockey Hall of Fame to tell you the truth.
I know his curve. I'll just take a guess. I'll go with Nealer.
Brian Pothier.
Oh,
I never heard that.
Right, you never heard of him? Really sneaky, smart right shot D. Had a couple good years with Ottawa. I actually liked him. Wally ended up in. He was a smart player.
Runs a hockey camp now. In the U.S. I forget where. Yeah,
he was a good player.
So, anyway, Daniel Alfredsson, the first ever shootout goal in NHL history on opening night against the Leafs.
Very nice.
So with that, gentlemen, I just thought I'd do a little walk down memory lane.
That was good. You did a good job today. I know you're feeling a little left out, and I thought you brought it today.
I will say, Bobby did say at the end of the show, like there was a somewhat of a compliment by saying that I do a pretty good job of putting the show together. Something about that.
Yeah, I give you a little credit.
Yeah, so I'll take that as a positive.
And you nailed this one. It's an hour on the dot. So I need you guys to say a prayer for me. I got the baby powder out. It's 107 index, and I got to go car shopping. So
well done.
Yeah. Say a prayer for me there, Wally.
What kind are you looking at?
It's not for me. I'm helping a friend out. So we're doing 5 different cars, and I'm hoping that she wants a white one, so they're not as hot getting in the test drive.
So okay.
I'll be leaving baby powder all over the black seats.
You said you were going to golf with Mike Fisher the next day after the draft. Did you tell him you drafted him? Oh, sorry. Lunch.
Yeah, I had lunch. Did not come up. He didn't ask my podcast.
Hey, Fish, I drafted you today, by the way. Oh, thanks.
Didn't come up. But we had a great lunch. Great guy.
Awesome. Guess he doesn't watch every episode.
Yeah, I brought it. We talked about the podcast a little bit, but he did say he enjoyed being on it with us. So,
all right, fair enough.
We'll get him back.
See you, boys. Have a good week. We'll chat next week.
See you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Coming in Hot is brought to you by Botano.ca. Please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to never miss an episode.